All right, we got our 22 gauge sheet here for practice. You can see I've got one piece here that I've already hammered on a little bit. It's got a curved edge and it's domed up a bit. This other area here, I've drawn some circles and gone part way around. We're going to start from scratch on a fresh piece of the same 22 gauge scrap. We're going to try to repeat these results. The 22 gauge is much thinner than what we're going to use when we're making armor, but it's an interesting training exercise just to learn how the metal is going to react to the hammer. And then we can use those results when we move over to the thicker steel. On this piece of 22 gauge here, see I've drawn 3 lines here, 1, 2, 3, and then I've done 3 little circles with the center point. I'm going to be striking directly over my small indention here with the hammer. I'm going to try to have consistent blows, nice and consistent, always trying to strike in the same place. My left hand is going to move the work over the dish there, not the hammer moving all over the place. The hammer is just up and down, nice and consistent. Each line is going to be one course, so we're going to hammer along this outside line. That's one course, the second course, then the third course. And afterwards we're going to touch up the results to try to get a little more uniformity out of this. So I'm going to go ahead. Even with the first course, you can see we're starting to get some curvature. Begin the second course. Second course done. A little more curvature. So now after 3 courses, we have a fairly uniform curve here. Looking at the reflection on the back side, and by just watching my work, you can see that I wasn't too precise with it. And we have a lot of uneven spots. If you look in this region here, you can see that it's a little higher. It's a little higher here on this ridge. So I'm going to go back in and try to get that a little more uniform. Starting to get some wrinkling along the edge. I'll go ahead and clean that up by putting the edge directly in the center. I'm just running a quick course down that edge. As you can see, this is pretty uniform. The rest we'll manipulate by hand in the future, but by moving in one line down, we've made the metal curve up from the sides, creating this radius, as well as dish up and in as we push into the spot. I'm going to do the 3 circular courses here, and the metal's going to react a little bit differently than it did on the other side. So after one course, you can see that it's mostly just pushed down. The edges are starting to turn up here on the corner and a little there. I'm going to go into the second course now. The second course is done and we've dished in. We've still got a lot of unevenness. You can see a wrinkle starting to form here and all these edges coming up. And the third course is pretty short there. You can see we're starting to get some turn up, and again, I wasn't too precise as I went through it, so I'm going to go back in and clear up the results to get a little more uniformity. So now I'm pretty happy with the curve that I have. It feels pretty even to the touch on both the inside and the outside. If you see the shape there, we've dished up a small circular area there, and all the edges have attempted to pull into the center, as opposed to when we went in one straight line, we get mostly the edges pulling up there. These are just practice skills. This is dishing, this is dishing. Obviously, if we wanted to do something like a lame on an articulated piece, there'd need to be a little bit of light dishing like this so that it can rotate up into another piece. But again, these are good ways to practice your skills. I'm by no means an expert at this, but if you put the time in on practicing a little bit, you'll be able to transfer the skills over to a thicker piece of metal pretty easily. Thank you for watching.